welcome to episode 7 of the EarthtonesGirl podcast. My name is Denise, and I am coming to you today from my home in Yonkers, New York, where I live with my husband and our 2 children. You can find me on all of the social medias as EarthtonesGirl. I am most active on Instagram. I'm also on Ravelry, and the podcast has an email address, earthtonesgirl@gmail.com, where you can contact me with comments, questions, anything you like. So welcome, everybody, to the first episode of 2018. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. There are so many good things that are in the planning, and I just think this is going to be a really exciting year for me personally, for me creatively. Yeah, I would love to hear what your plans are. At the end of 2017, my last episode, I talked about my word for this year being simplify, and so far so good. We're only 8 days in, but we're doing pretty good so far, so I'm very happy about that. I didn't make any resolutions this year. I just decided to... My sister put up a post at the beginning of this year, and I thought it was just absolutely perfect. It was new memories, new moments, new adventures, and it was a picture that she put up, and basically she said she's not making any resolutions. She will just continue to work on herself and pretty much see where the road leads, and that is my personal goal for this year. And it is for the podcast. I do have a couple of plans, but I just want to see how this grows and how it evolves, and where the road leads. So there are so many exciting things coming up. The 2 most exciting things this week, I got a new computer, you guys. Oh my gosh. It is a MacBook Pro 13-inch, and it's gorgeous. I can't stop petting it. I just love it. I love it so very much, and I'm a real geek when it comes to certain things, so I tend to name my devices. I haven't named that one yet, but I will, and I will let you know. I know that is so silly, but I do it. The other big thing this week is Vogue Knitting Live that starts this Friday, January 12th, and runs through the weekend until January 14th, so Friday to Sunday, and I will be there. I am so beyond excited. This is my 3rd or 4th year there. Just amazing. The first year that I went, God, that was a while ago now, but the first year that I went, I took classes with Cookie A, and it was amazing. A little hot. I do remember that the classrooms were really hot because we were actually in hotel rooms. But then I missed a couple of years. I got pregnant. I had my son. And then I went back 2 years ago by myself. Last year, I didn't stay in the city. I just went 2 years ago alone, just hung out for the day for a couple of hours. Last year, I went with Carolyn, my friend Carolyn Bloom, who is Bloom Handmade Studio on Instagram, and we had a ball. Oh my gosh. We had just the best time between shopping at the market, meeting knitters, meeting podcasters, meeting people. It was just such an incredible 2 days. Actually 3 days, because I ended up going back on the 3rd day to meet Katie, who is the host of the Inside Number 23 podcast. She was in town from England, and it just seemed like such a waste for her to be here and to have come so far, and I didn't meet her. We connected via messages, and I went downtown on Sunday, and I got to meet her, and it was it was one of the highlights of the weekend. It was just amazing, and I will put some pictures of that in here for you to see. And now it is 2018, and I'm so excited. I will be staying overnight again. Very, very excited. I'm staying in the hotel, same hotel as Vogue Knitting Live, and Carolyn and I are going down again, and we're taking classes this year. I'm so excited about that. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'll talk about the classes in a couple of minutes. And we're hoping, we've already made some plans to meet up with people. I won't say who yet. It'll be a little bit of a surprise. I can't wait. Two of them I've met before and spent some time with, and two I will be meeting for the first time. I'm having a fangirl moment. I'm just really, really excited about that. So you stay tuned. I am going to hopefully be vlogging and Insta storying both Friday and Saturday. And then I'll do a big podcast episode next week to just sort of recap and sum it all up and show you some of the things that I got to work on in class. So yeah, good things are coming. So that is this week. And I also wanted to just go back a little bit and take a look at 2017, just in terms of my knitting and what I got done. Last year, I didn't knit as much as I would have liked. Well, let me say this. I felt like I was knitting all the time, but I didn't finish a lot. And that's okay. That is okay. It was an interesting year. My daughter was in second grade. My son hadn't started school yet, so he was with me all the time. You know, and when he's with me, I really do like to play with him, teach him things, you know, just interact with him as I should as I should be doing. So I put my needles down a lot, and I was just knitting in short bursts between things. So again, while I felt like I was knitting all the time, there wasn't a lot of finished objects, and that's okay. I'm not upset about that. I am hoping that 2018 is a little bit more productive in terms of finishing projects. There are a couple of projects that I have in mind. Not a couple, there's many projects that I would love to tackle this year. Last year, 2017, I completed 14 pairs of socks, which was 3 less than 2016, but that's okay. 14 pairs of socks, 2 pairs of hand warmers, and I got about 2/3 of the way through a sweater. I hadn't knit a sweater in years. If you've been watching the podcast, you've heard me talk about that. So I started and got through about 2/3 of my very first sweater. It was the Acorn sweater. And I am hoping now to finish it by Friday. Fingers crossed. The yoke and most of the body is done. It's just sleeves, and the sleeves are straight knitting. So I'm hoping to get that done. Yeah, you know what? Why don't I just show you? I've got it right here. I made notes. I always make notes for myself when I'm podcasting, and I keep them off to the side so I can, you know, check them as I go. And I'm not following my script today, but that's okay. It's fine. I'm winging it. So here is, let's take a look at this again. Here is my sweater. As you can see, both of this sleeve has been started. The ball is dangling down there somewhere. I've got my other sleeve, and then there's not much more to go on the body. It's a very boxy sweater. There is some more decreasing that has to happen here, but as you can see, it's all straight knitting. So in theory, if I can possibly get this done, I'm hoping by Wednesday night so that I can block it. So that gives me a little more than 2 days. If I knit on and do absolutely nothing else, I might be able to get it done and just stay up a little bit later. Because again, it's just stockinette. You're just going around and around. So we'll see. But I really would love to wear this. I think it will be a great way for people to find me, as well as just being warm. We are supposed to warm up this week. So fingers crossed, because we have been in sub-zero. As many people know, the East Coast, most of the country is in a deep freeze right now, but it is supposed to warm up later in the week. But it's also, I think we're supposed to get rain, so I think this will be perfect for me to wear, just to keep warm in the hotel and for people to recognize me. So I'm really hoping to get this finished. Let's put that over there. Yeah, and So that is my sweater. You know what? I'm kind of doing this all backwards. Let me just pause, collect my thoughts, and I'll be back in a second. Okay. So yes, so that is my sweater, hoping to get that done. And so 14 pairs of socks from last year, 2 pairs of hand warmers, 2/3 of a sweater, and I also got a lot of project bags made. I think at the beginning of the year, I was sewing a lot more. I was on the sewing machine. I had the idea of possibly starting an Etsy shop. That was very early in the year, and the timing just isn't right. It just wasn't right, and I decided to put that on hold. It would take away too much time from my family, and honestly take time away from my knitting. I really want to knit, and if I make a project bag, I just kind of want to make one for myself or for a friend. But I did get a few project bags made, and I was very happy with my decision to hold off on the shop. Again, I'm pretty good at knowing what I can handle, what I'm capable of, what will overwhelm me. So I was very happy with that decision. That said, I am hoping to sew a little bit more this year as well. I used to quilt a lot, when my daughter was first born. So that's about 8 years ago. I'd say for, gosh, a long time, 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer, I was sewing. And I remember in 2015, I knit 5 pairs of socks, you guys. 5 for the whole year. That was basically all I knit, and everything else was sewing. I lived at this spot. I lived on this machine and loved it. I had a great time. It was another creative outlet, and I'd like to get back to that a little bit. And it's not about having more finished knitted objects. It's just about having more finished objects overall. There are some wonderful quilting books out. I'm a big fan of one of the quilt designers that I'm most in love with is Lori Holt, and she put out a really amazing, beautiful book in July, and I really would love to get back to that. Sew a couple more project bags, maybe get a quilt block a month done. I think that's realistic. Her blocks are a little involved. There's a lot of piecing involved, and I do miss that. I think my least favorite part of sewing in general, whether I'm quilting or making bags or anything, is the cutting, is all the prepping, the ironing and prepping and washing your fabric. But once I actually get to sewing, I love it. So I am hoping to sew a little bit more. And I think the other thing that took away from creating time was another form of creating, and that was this podcast. So between vlogging that I did in September and then starting the podcast in October, I love it, and I loved it then. I'm loving it now. I still love it, and I know I'm going to stick with it. Knock on wood. But that eats up a lot of time, all the editing and everything, but I love it. And to me, it's another form of creativity. And it was another reason why I bought the computer, because I know that you can do a lot more with iMovie and other editing software and apps on the computer. So we'll see how this podcast changes and evolves in the next, year. Just new features, new bells and whistles. I'm excited to see what I can come up with and what I can do. Just in looking at other podcasts, I really love the aesthetic of a lot of them. And just the visual, the look of them. So we'll see what happens here. Right now I am very happy with how this looks, and from the feedback I've been getting from all of you and the new subscribers and the thumbs up, I think you are enjoying it too, and I hope you continue to enjoy it. I am so looking forward to all of the sharing that we're going to do this year. Just this week alone, there's going to be a lot of sharing, and I would love to hear from you. If there's anything that you would like to see at Vogue Knitting Live, anything you'd like me to focus on, shots of the market. I know there's a really amazing view of a downward shot of the market from the second floor, and I want to get that in here. So tell me if there's anything you'd like me to see or people you'd like me to look for. I'll do my best on that. Let me know any yarns that you'd like to see. I'm really going to try to make it as detailed and for you as I can, especially for those that cannot attend. So we'll see how that looks. So let's talk about, oh, the other thing that I really wanted to talk about is at the end of last year, right around the holiday time, there was a really big hashtag called Get Your Wish Granted, Get Your Yarny Wish Granted. They do one for quilting and things like that, but I granted many wishes, and I got 2 of my own wishes granted, and I wanted to just publicly thank them. I thanked them both privately, but I just wanted to publicly thank them and show off their gifts because they were just so wonderful and generous. So let me grab those and I'll be right back. So the first person, the first wish that I had, that I made was for a bag, a project bag by the amazingly talented Rick, who is Whimsy Stitches on Instagram. He has an amazing Etsy shop. His work is amazing, so, so beautiful. And his project bags have clear plastic, like a vinyl, so you can see your project in the bag. And he has I guess maybe his signature bag that is rainbow colors, and I wanted one so badly. So I sort of put that out there, and voila. Isn't this bag amazing? I love the little handle. It is a drawstring bag. Look at that. And there's clear plastic, you guys. You can see what your project is. It's boxed. It has a boxy bottom. Look at that. Look at that. His stripes line up beautifully. Oh my gosh, it's just so much fun. It's such a gorgeous, beautifully made bag. And he threw in a little cozy, a little needle cozy to go along with that. And I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Rick for this. I'm saving this for the spring because I just want to show off what I'm working on, and I can't wait to use this bag. So thank you very, very much, Rick, for this. I absolutely love it. And the other wish that was granted was by Mina Phillip of the KnittingExpat. I have been dying to try yarn by Hueloco, and guess what? Oh my gosh. Look at that. Purple deliciousness, you guys. Oh my goodness. I don't think I have any purple yarn this really royal purple in my stash, and it's also a tweed. I really wanted to try the tweed. Beautiful. I absolutely love it. This is called Daze Hands is the colorway, I think, on her tweed sock, which is an 85-15 base, 438 yards. I'm so happy with this. Thank you so much, Mina. Mina and I went to dinner during Vlogmas, and it was on a Vlogmas episode. I'll put that down in the down bar, which episode that was, if you want to have a look. And we went down by the tree, down by Rockefeller Center, and we saw the windows at Saks. It was really, really fun. And we had dinner, and she gifted me this yarn. So thank you so much, Mina, for this. Maybe it will go in this bag. How perfect would that look? Look at that, guys. We'll see. So thank you to them. And I also wanted to talk about my final FOs from last year. So let's talk about that, because I have a pair of socks that I never talked about on the podcast. I finished them and they sat here, and for some reason I don't even think I posted them on Instagram. So we've got to remedy that. So I wanted to talk about that here, because I made such a fuss on the podcast. Oops. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness, little earthquake. If you guys see my setup here, I have my tripod camera mounted on a tripod, which is sitting on a empty cardboard box on my bed. Very high tech, but it works and I'm happy with it, and it cost me nothing. So yay, more money for yarn. So here they are. Let's get these on the sock blockers and show you. Do you guys remember those? They are my white Birch Fiber Arts socks. And hold on, these had my first afterthought heel. I cannot believe I never talked about this. I'm terrible. So let's get this on, and let me show you these babies. Okay, and dun 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 dun. Here they are, guys. They are done. Look at that. sock number 1, sock number 2, oops, sock number 1, sock number 2. So these are white birch fiber arts in their Spice Me Up colorway. Absolutely stunning. I love these, and there it is. Oops, that's a little fuzz on there. There they are, guys. Afterthought heels. Let's pull up the other one. Look at them. Turn them around. Oh my gosh. There they are again. Okay. When I first started knitting socks, drop heel, swore I would never do anything else, but I was never that comfortable with the fit. It was always a little fiddly, and I was constantly adjusting, and they bunched up in my shoes. Okay. Then I found the Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I thought, okay, this is it. This is the heel I never knew that I always wanted. Loved it, fell in love with it. It was super easy. Loved it. Then I tried this. So much. This heel is magic. With the Fish Lips Kiss heel, I always got a little bit of pulling across the instep. Was it uncomfortable? No. Once the socks were on for a little bit, like, I never block my socks really. I just wear them and then wash them because I don't really see the need. I like them to really fit. I don't want to sort of block out the elasticity in the sock. Maybe, I don't know, that may just all be in my imagination, but I don't usually block my socks. And I tried these on as I was knitting them, and there was no pulling. The heel is gorgeous. I used a combination of the Kirby Werby video, which is a really detailed, I mean, I can't remember her name right now, forgive me, but she's constantly saying how boring the video is, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It is so detailed. She shows you everything, how she picks the stitches out, how she cuts it. It's about 15 minutes long, and she, again, thinks it's so boring, but all of that detail in it is what was so helpful. And then I also just did the decreasing from the Smooth Operator sock by Susan B. Anderson, and they're done, guys. Gorgeous. There is no pulling on these at all. They fit beautifully. I love them. I will still go back to the Fish Lips Kiss heel when I'm not using stripy yarn, just because it's pretty quick. But the fit of these is just amazing. So here they are. I love these so much. My first Afterthought heel socks. Success. I love them. I love this colorway. Look at that stripy. Look at that bullseye, you guys. It's just, oh my gosh, amazing. I love these so much. So yes, so these are done. Second to last finished object from last year. And let's keep this show rolling here. I finished my Christmas socks, one set of my Christmas socks. These were the Dobby Sock Club socks. Let's get these on the blockers for you guys to see. Oops, excuse me. I dropped a blocker. So let's get these on. Hold on a second. Giving me a little bit of a hard time. Okay, and they're on. And here they are. Voila! Pull back so you can see them. They are done. Dobby Christmas socks. They are mismatched. I love that. That took me so out of my comfort zone. And I love that. I absolutely love that it forced me to just accept mismatched socks. And now I love them. And it's so funny because my daughter never matches her socks. I think it kind of started randomly because we were always in a rush and couldn't find the other socks, so I would just grab 2 socks, and then it really became a thing for her to purposely not match her socks. And I think these may be her favorite socks that I've ever made. She loves these so much. Oh my gosh, Amber is the genius behind Makerhaven. I love these so much. The Harry Potter fan in me loves them. I love this contrasting heel, and I did do a Fish Lips Kiss heel here. And again, not too much pulling. I think I actually increased my stitches a little bit. I usually do 64 stitches on a 2.25 high sharp needle. And I think I might have gone up to 66 or 68. I'd have to count to double check, but and then decreased back down to 64 on once I was finished with the heel, and the fit was so much better. There's less pulling around the instep. Here they are. I love the toe. I do a rounded toe, and I love them. I also love the little micro stripes in these. They're Christmassy, but without being over the top Christmassy. I just love them. I love them, you guys, so very much. So this was actually this pair of socks were my last finished object of 2017. I finished these with about 5 minutes to spare on New Year's Eve midnight. They were done. I was so excited. So this was pair number 14. So we were all done. So there they are. Let's turn them around again. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Just look at that. That yarn is so beautiful, you guys. Oh, I just love it. And the green could not be more perfect. I just think they're beautiful. Just beautiful. Here's the other one. Love them from all angles. I'm just so happy with them. So these were, again, last FO of 2017. And, okay, let's talk about these. These were my Christmas Eve cast-on socks. Oh my gosh. And I just finished these about 2 days ago. So I finished these on January 4th. And again, didn't post them. Keep dropping my blockers. I didn't post them on Instagram. Between the weather and trying to keep warm, and I've had the kids home, I just haven't really had that much time to post them, but I will remedy that shortly. And we're talking about them here. And here they are, you guys. Are you ready for this? Okay, wait. I gotta fix that heel. Okay, there we go. Look at these. Oh my goodness. Let's do that. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at these socks. Wait, let's fix that a little bit there. There, that looks better. I did it again. Another afterthought heel. I am hooked. I am completely hooked. I love these socks so much. I made the legs super, super long. And I realized this yarn was thick. It was really, really thick as I was, well, I don't know if thick is the word, but I started with 64 stitches and realized it was actually really big in here. So I don't know if you can see, I'll pop it off so you can see it in a second, but I decided to decrease to 60 stitches, and the fit was just amazing around the instep, the ankle instep, heel and foot. I may start doing that. I kind of like the long leg in the socks, but sometimes 64 is just not, it's a little too tight. So, yep, I did it. Afterthought heel. I haven't woven in. There's a little tiny bit of a hole there. It's less on this one. I haven't even woven in the ends, but these I just finished, like I said, on January 4th. And these socks this colorway is Letters to Santa. My Christmas Eve cast on, Letters to Santa by Nomadic Yarns. Love them so much. I love the little pop of burgundy there on the toe. And as you can see, this toe is a little bit bigger than this one. It's just kind of the way the yarn fell, the way it was knitted up. But I love them so much. And they're squishy and soft, and oh my God, they're delicious. They're just amazing. This colorway was so much fun to knit. So I'm actually counting these as 2017 socks because I cast them on in 2017. I got an entire sock done, and I think almost down to here, about maybe a third of the way, a quarter of the way down on the foot, and then finished just the foot by the 4th. So I am actually going to consider these, I'm going to put these in my box of socks for 2017. But here they are. Oh my gosh, love them. Let's zoom in on those colors. Look at those gorgeous colors, you guys. Striping is just beautiful and perfect. Oh my goodness, I love them so much. The striping was actually even down here. It was an even number of stripes. Usually when you've got an odd number and you're doing the afterthought heel, you can just split the difference with how many rows of the color you have above and below where you cut in the heel. But these were an even number, so I just put, I think, 1 row more toward the bottom of the heel, or where the end of the heel or the bottom part of the heel starts. You really can't tell. I really don't think that you can tell. And if anybody stops you to look for that, then you might have a bigger problem. So yep, these are done. So 3 pairs of socks, you guys, in a really short amount of time. Love them. And I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm actually knitting faster. I'm knitting my socks a little bit faster, so I'm kind of hoping that that helps with getting a little bit more done next year. I don't really know why that is. I'm going to put those down. Don't know why that is, but I just am. I feel like I'm really flying when I'm knitting. Just checking the time because I have to pick up my son. I feel like the socks have just been flying off the needles, and I probably would have even finished these sooner. But we still had friends over and family over between Christmas and New Year's. So I was just busy, relaxed, but busy. And of course, I don't really want to knit while we're all sitting at the dinner table. So, yeah, but I do feel like I'm knitting a little bit faster. And that's actually one of the classes I'm taking, this weekend, is how to increase your speed, with your knitting. Is that really important? No, it's absolutely not that important, but I'm just curious. I am a righty, so I throw. I do a modified throw because it's more like a shuttle movement with my hand, as opposed to a real throwing or wrapping of the yarn. Of course, my phone's ringing. 1 second, you guys. Sorry about that. I'm back. Don't you hate it when your phone rings and you go to answer it and there's nobody there? Or even worse, there's a telemarketer on the phone? Really? Okay. So anyway, I was talking about how I knit, and I've included many videos on, just sprinkled throughout podcast episodes and Vlogmases, of me knitting. Maybe I'll try to include one here. In this episode, just so you can see what I mean. But again, it's not terribly important. It's just something I'm curious about, and I can knit with both hands, which leads to another class I'm taking. It's a colorwork class with Meg Swanson and Amy Denchen, and I'm so excited. I haven't seen Meg in, oh my gosh, many years, since before I had my daughter. I used to go to knitting camp. I've gone quite a few times, in Wisconsin, so I'm very excited to see her again. I did see Amy last year at Vogue Knitting Live, and that was wonderful. So I'm gonna get 3 solid hours of sitting there in the midst of their genius and just to learn to knit for 3 solid hours. Oh, bliss. I can't wait. I just can't wait. So yes, I can knit with yarn in both hands, but my tension is so different, especially with my left hand, that I want to learn a little bit more control, a little bit more about yarn dominance, how to use that to your advantage in patterns, and then they're also going to demonstrate how to hold 2 yarns in one hand. That may be the way to go. So I'm not sure. This is why I'm taking the class, to learn, and that's another thing. I really want to try some new techniques this year, just to learn more. I haven't taken classes outside of Craftsy in a really long time, just in a room with other knitters. So I am so happy to be doing that again. Yeah, so that is that. And of course, I will bring you all of that and talk in detail about everything that I've learned. I can't wait to share all of that with you. But let's go back to socks for just 1 minute, because I want to show you my first cast on of 2018. And if you've been following me on Instagram and my Insta stories, you've heard all about this. So here they are. Let's pop off the cozy for a second. I love that popping sound. So here they are. These are my new, and as you can see, I've gotten pretty far. I don't remember, I cast these on just a couple of days ago. I'm not on the first day of the year, but I did cast them on a couple of days ago. Or maybe I did, I don't remember. The days are blurring slightly. But this colorway is Hygge, I think I'm saying it right, Hygge. which is the Danish art of happiness. That is what the word actually means, or the study of happiness, or the pursuit of happiness. But it is a Danish word. But that's the name of this colorway. I've got my little stitch marker, my progress keeper on there. Choose happy. I made that myself. I love it. I love everything about this whole thing. This colorway. I love my little progress keeper. I love my needles. Let's talk about needles, you guys. I tried really hard. I wanted so very much to like these. I did a big, oops, sorry about that again. I did a really big Insta story review on these, and I don't like them, you guys. I don't like them for many, many reasons. They're just not comfortable. I hope that you guys saw my Insta story. I'll go into detail maybe in another episode about why I didn't like these so much, but you know what, I'll do it now. I'll talk about it now, really quick. So, number one, I found them to be very fiddly. I didn't, even though you've got that flexible cable in the middle, I did find it difficult to maneuver the stitches. This needle, the actual length of the needle itself from tip to cable is short. I'm used to a much longer shaft. You can see the difference here. If I put the bases together, look at that. Can you see the difference in that? I mean, you're losing, look at that difference. And this is on a regular circular, and this down here is the flexi flip. I need that extra length. I need that extra length to hold. That is where my hand rests, and there is no place to rest your hand. Your hand ends up on the cable, which is where your stitches are, and it's so fiddly. It was so difficult to maneuver these, and again, as you're knitting, you're not going to really get the effect here, but as you're knitting, okay, so maybe you can see that it kind of does this kind of a shape. It is very difficult to keep the back needle, the one that you are not knitting on, out of your way. You should be able to turn it so the needles are pointing away from you, but that's a constant struggle. You're constantly pausing as you knit to push those stitches out, push those needles out of your way. That's annoying. I found it so annoying, and I kept poking myself, and I just want to knit. I want to go, and I couldn't do that with these. And these also have a rocket tip and a turbo tip and a rocket tip on them. So again, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to try to hold these like this and see if you can see the difference in the tips. Sorry, I'm not even holding them level. I think this one is the rocket, and oh dear, hold on. This one is the rocket, and I think this one is the turbo tip. If you could see, one looks a tiny bit pointier than the other. As you're knitting along, I'm constantly looking down to see which, or like poking to see which tip I'm using. I think after a while that could change your gauge a little bit, and it's annoying. Somebody suggested, they left a comment on my Instagram post about putting a little dot of nail polish on the point that you want. But again, as you're feeding through and then you turn, you still end up on the other point. So you can keep your working needle on the point that you want, but you're knitting off of the opposite point. I'll just stop talking now, because the bottom line is I did try them. I was not happy at all. Will I hold on to them for a bit and try again? Yes, I definitely will. Will I probably end up giving these away? In a trade or a giveaway or something, but and again, these are Addy Turbo Flexi Flips, and this size is a 2.25. Yeah, did not like them at all. So that, I can't even tell you how frustrated I was by them. I wanted to like them. I went in, as Mars from Hey Brown Berry said to me, also in a comment, she said, I know you wanted to love them. And she was right. She knew me very well. I did want to love them. And in theory, I was hoping, when you're knitting with the 2 circs, you're constantly pushing this needle into place, grabbing your working needle, and then you start knitting. And I was hoping, because these are so much shorter, that pushing time would be dramatically decreased. Not that how much time am I really wasting? Probably immeasurable. But I was kind of hoping that these would eliminate that problem. And because the needle itself is so much shorter, you'd be right there at the tips all the time. But it didn't work. I can knit on these blindfolded. I don't have to look at my hands. I can knit in the dark. I can knit talking to people. I can knit anywhere, anytime. This is my method of choice, and for now I am sticking with it. If this just makes me happy and comfortable, I am choosing to be happy. And those weren't making me happy. And again, it goes back to our word for the year, my word for the year, to simplify. Keep things simple. Make things simple. Do things in your life that will bring you joy, that will make you happy. Eliminate things that complicate things. Remove things from the plate that take up unnecessary time. And that is my goal for myself, is to take things off of the plate so that I do have more time to focus on what I want. Be a little bit more prepared, have a little bit more, do a little more planning ahead of time, have the foresight to get things done early so that when the moment arrives, there isn't a rush, there isn't a panic, there isn't a scramble. And I'm very guilty of doing that. I get things done, but sometimes, again, I'm like buzzing, rushing. Oh my gosh, I have to wrap this. I have to pack that. I have to move. And who wants that? Who wants to live that way? I want to slow down. And I'm really torn, because I feel like my word should be slow down, but I can slow down because I've simplified. So, yeah, enough about words. I think it's going to be a good year, you guys. There's a lot planned, a lot going on. I also want to include a little montage, maybe at the end, of some upcoming projects I'd love to tackle, upcoming designs I can't wait to get on the needles, things I'm dying to cast on. So yeah, I think I've pretty much covered. Let's double check my notes again. Yeah, I think that I have pretty much covered it all. I'm psyched to start doing some editing on the Mac. There is a little more of a learning curve, so I will get to that. And again, that process is not frustrating to me at all. I'm excited to learn that and bring some new things to the podcast. So I'm excited. I'm happy. I feel peaceful, and I hope that your year has started off really well for everybody. I know that it hasn't for some people. I hope that changes for you. I hope that this year brings you joy. I'm excited, really, really excited. And I can't wait to join you all at the end of the week with lots of Vogue Knitting Live stuff. Stay tuned, you guys. There's a lot of good stuff coming on this channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. You all are the best. I am so happy to have this space to share with you. If you've enjoyed this episode, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. I should have probably said this at the beginning, but if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Welcome to a new year. And if you are a new viewer, I hope that you have enjoyed this episode, enjoyed what you saw here today, and you come back again and spend some more time with me. So, yeah, have a great day, everybody. Have a great week, and I will see you in a couple of days. Bye, everyone.